Alright, and we're back. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies. Tonight, you are here with myself, Gemma, or Gems, as well as Rollercoaster up in the upper left, Tiki or Chase in the upper right, and then we've got Nibs down in the bottom left. How's it going, guys?
What's going on?
Let's see. Good. Are y'all excited? So tonight, we've got 4 best of 3s for the ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies, as we like to call them here. None of them will feature any of us. This is a first, I think, for the Monday Night Friendlies where it's not us. It went from only being us to now it's none of us. So we've got 4 super exciting matchups. We have 3 that will be using the Series 5 rule set, 3 using the Series 6 rule set, and 1 still holding out and using the Series 5 rule set. So in our very first game, we are going to have, I think we've gone back to the, did we go back to the original order, or did we tell them that in Discord? I forget. But
I don't.
we never told them we were changing. Okay, sorry. A little behind the scenes magic. Game 1 will be against Woke Flossie. Hey there, White Tigers. How's it going? Welcome. So, in our very first game, we're going to have Woke Flossie versus Fortune. Fortune, a first-time battler, and Woke Flossie, returning champion. Then in our second game, we're going to have Charisma versus Rowan. Two battlers that we've seen several times here on stream. In Game 3, we're going to have Sir Wilson versus Tigers, who just said hey in the chat. And then finally, rounding out Game 4, we are going to be having Adam Santacos versus Professor Ragna. So every game except for Game 3 will be the new Series 6 rule set, so that includes the 16 banned Pokemon. A fun fact, 15 of those 16 have appeared in these ATX VGC Monday Night Friendlies. And one of them had a really nice feature on our Team Builder Tuesday last week, the one that hasn't been featured yet. So if y'all haven't seen that yet, go check it out. It is Chase, Rollercoaster and I kind of team building together on that. So with that, does anyone have anything that they want to throw out there before we get rolling with the first battle?
I think I'm good to go.
I'm pretty excited to see that one Pokemon that you were just mentioning.
I hope we see it. What about you, Rollercoaster?
Rip Hippowdon.
Rip Hippowdon, yeah. I believe that a direct quote from that stream the other day from Chase was, "We just won that game because of Hippowdon."
It's true, we did.
I think there was a specific one where I was like, I think we just win now because we have Hippowdon in the bag.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. Hippowdon OP. So with that, if y'all just give us 1 minute, we're going to flip to our BRB screen and
Back, everybody. We are here with our fourth and final battle of the night. It is going to be Adam Santacos versus Professor Ragna, who will both happen to have the
Score bunny avatar.
Yeah. I was thinking Cinderace there for baby Cinderace.
Baby Cinderace. Okay.
Juggernaut is the name of this team.
Real quick, Incineroar is dead. Goodbye forever, Incineroar. Long live the reign of Arcanine.
I will say, I do wish that Will went for the thumbnail there and Dynamaxed his Hippowdon.
Oh, apparently one of us is echoing right now.
Is it me?
Okay, it's been fixed. We did it. Good job, Nibs.
No, that was Gemma. Let's be honest here.
No, we're the best. Okay, so let's talk about these teams.
Oh,
Professor
man,
Ragna has brought what his signature Pokemon apparently is, Wooloo. We also got Corviknight, Amoonguss, Haxorus, Charizard, and Rotom Wash.
Yeah, I will mention real quick, as we do see the Wooloo and the Greedent, me and Will are doing a series of Nuzlocke, Rival Lock, and we do have both of these beginning Pokemon, so be sure to check that one out. Also, that being said, join our
Adam
Discord.
has Greedent, Amoonguss, Pincurchin, Sylveon, Raichu, and Dusclops.
All right.
Very interesting stuff.
I gotta say, I'm extremely excited to see Sylveon come back in Series 6 here.
Oh yeah, Sylveon's a great Pokemon. I am personally planning on attempting to use it. I've been attempting to breed a Shining one for the past week. It's not going well.
I gave up on that. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in a love ball and call it a day.
I never give up. Okay, so what are you thinking here, Nibs? What are your thoughts?
I think I'm kind of excited to see the Haxorus come to the party.
Yeah, actually, Haxorus could be a pretty dominant dragon now that Dragapult's gone.
Yeah, it's as we before mentioned, Mold Breaker is a super cool ability, and that's something that Haxorus gets. It's one of the few Pokemon that do get it, and we do see it. Potentially a Dragon Dance coming from Haxorus here. I do believe that is a move that it gets, as we see it partnered next to a Rage Powder Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Focus Sash on the Amoonguss and Life Orb on the Haxorus. So it looks like Ragna has the option to just go on the offensive right now. Probably go for something like a Max Wormwind into the Greedent and just spore the Dusclops. If I'm Adam, I would hope that I brought Pincurchin in the back just to avoid any spore. So maybe something like a switch to Pincurchin and a Trick Room is what they end up going for.
Yeah, and it looks like you called that one right.
Yeah. Can Pincurchin be good? I want it to be good so badly. Okay, Greedent's gonna switch out in for Pincurchin, gonna set up the electric terrain, which means that Amoonguss isn't gonna be able to spore or anything like that, keeping his Pokemon safe from the sleep condition. A great call, no one likes to go to sleep. Dragon Dance comes out from Haxorus, so good call on your part, Nibs.
Yeah, so I do think we did see the Trick Room coming from the Dusclops there.
Mm-hmm.
So that Dragon Dance isn't really going to do a whole lot except for boost that attack, which is still not a bad thing because Adam here doesn't have really anything to take out that Haxorus.
Yeah, he does have the Sylveon in the back, which is helpful. But Haxorus is boosted. The Amoonguss can't spore, which is great, but can still redirect. So I think this turn, even though that Amoonguss may seem like less of a threat because it can't put things to sleep, you still might want to prioritize taking it out. Dusclops going for a helping hand into the Pincurchin. Amoonguss just protects itself, wants to just stay on the field and be as disruptive as long as it possibly can. Rising Voltage coming into the Haxorus. Oh my god! What?
Holy cow!
What?
And that Rising Voltage helping hand coming from the Pincurchin is just going to get that clean knockout going into that Haxorus slot. So that Haxorus, after the Dragon Dance, is not going to be able to do anything. I will mention that it is boosted in the terrain, but still, Pincurchin. What?
Pincurchin good?
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna be rattled by that for like the rest of the game.
Can we
Jesus.
see Dynamax Pincurchin in this turn here, targeting down that Corviknight possibly?
I mean, I definitely just go for another Rising Voltage. That Amoonguss is definitely gonna want to Rage Powder that away. It just took out a Haxorus. Full health.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so it's definitely going to annihilate this Corviknight.
And we
if Amoonguss doesn't do anything to redirect it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what a turn. Yeah, turns out this Corviknight has to Dynamax if it wants a chance to survive this Rising Voltage Pincurchin.
Oh, I did not think I would ever see that.
Saying, I know it's a strong move and it's terrain boosted, but it's resisted on Haxorus. I thought that it would live. Okay, so Rage Powder from Amoonguss. If you saw your Haxorus go down, you definitely think that the Corviknight's going to go down. So another Rising Voltage. This is resisted on a more bulky Pokemon. God, that's still just half.
Life Orb Pincurchin. Interesting. Steel Spike comes in, targeting down that horrifying Pincurchin slot, getting that Steel Spike defense boost.
Yeah, not too much damage. A little over half. Honestly, it looks like Adam needs to preserve his Pincurchin because this is going to be the thing that like wins him the game. Dear Lord. Or he may just try to do what he can to get rid of that Amoonguss. Professors, I mean, like, honestly, I think you just have to Rage Powder again. Like, your Corv Knight can't afford to take a hit that hard. If Adam's lucky, that was a roll on the first hit to Amoonguss. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay, wow. That makes sense. It's Walkenberry, so it's going to eat this up a little bit better. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That does a good amount of damage. And Amoonguss goes for Pollen Puff into the Pincurchin. Does that KO? I don't think it does.
It's down to 22 HP, and we are going to see another Steel Spike coming from that Corviknight, targeting down that scary Pincurchin, and it is going to knock it out finally.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
That scary Pincurchin. Did I say that?
Monster.
I guess with all the Sandstorm setters being gone for the most part, I mean, maybe Pincurchin has a chance, and the terrain setters being gone. Wow. Yeah,
Pincurchin Raichu may be a lot better than I initially thought. Oh, look, shiny Sylveon.
Shiny. I didn't see the Pokeball though. It has to be Love Ball, or actually, shiny Sylveon can also be Premier Ball. That's a way to make it cool too.
So this is the last turn of Electric Terrain. Now your Corviknight's way less threatened. You might want to scout for something like a Mystical Fire and just go for like a Protect or something like that, or like Rage Powder still. But if Amoonguss, this is the last turn of Electric Terrain, so if Amoonguss can survive the turn, it can start putting things to sleep and doing what Amoonguss loves and just be a real nuisance to the opposing player.
Yeah, so I didn't see the move slot on the Sylveon there. The one that I run right now is actually Specs, which means I have 4 attacks, and I run the Psyshock. So that is something that could potentially be targeting down the Amoonguss to take that out.
Yeah, it could have Mystical Fire, it could have a Psychic move. It could just try to powerhouse its way through with its Fairy-type moves. Looks like Adam's going to go ahead and Dynamax the Sylveon with its cute little bow tie. I love Sylveon. Sylveon's the best.
I do too. It's so adorable. Even when it's big, it's adorable.
Yes. So Helping Hands and going for, let's see. Okay, a Max Starfall. I don't know if that's going to get the Corviknight, to be honest.
That does more than I expected, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does a lot. I'd say it's definitely, after Dynamax, it's probably in range of a Nightshade if Dusclops has it, or potentially even just another Helping Hand Max Starfall. Steel Spike going to come out with the Dynamax. I think the Sylveon should be able to survive it. Probably does like a lot though.
Yeah, it does get it down into the yellow, probably about 65% there. I mean, the Sylveon did pretty much exactly what it wanted to there. It got its Dynamax off, and that allowed it to live.
The question is, I don't know if it can take an Iron Head. Honestly, though, like the Professor, not super afraid of going back into Trick Room, may just opt to Roost on the Corviknight. With it, it's at +3 defense now. You know that the other Pokemon in the back is a physical attacker. Ally Switch coming out from the Dusclops, going to try and avoid an Iron Head into the Sylveon or like a double up into it. Rotom goes for Nasty Plot, decides to just start boosting itself up. The Professor may have not been super confident. Oh, Taunt! Very good. Okay, does another Starfall get this Corviknight? Went into the Rotom. Oh, Jesus.
Wow, so that Nasty Plot's not going to make a difference, as that Max Starfall coming from the Sylveon in the terrain, getting that boost, is going to just get a clear KO into that Rotom Wash slot. Very cool.
But Amoonguss is back on the field. I'd say there's another 3 turns or 2 turns of Misty Terrain. Do you Ally Switch again and try to kill the Corviknight, or do you go for the Trick Room this time?
Yeah, so we saw the taunt there. I don't think you want to taunt here because you're down to your last 2 Pokemon and you want to put forward that offensive pressure right now more than anything. You don't want to fall back. If you don't attack, then you you probably lose, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, Taunt's going to come out into the correct slot this turn, going for the Dusclops. And on the last turn of Max's Starfall, I don't know how much this is going to do to Amoonguss. My guess would be not a lot. Yeah, Amoonguss, very, very defensive. And Trick Room does not go up. So it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. Sylveon can't protect this turn. And, okay, it was... And I imagine you just go for an Iron Head into the Sylveon this turn. Greedent gonna come out. Yeah, Iron Head comes out into Sylveon. That should definitely pick up a KO. It couldn't protect this turn, so it couldn't do anything. And maybe a Pollen Puff onto your own Corviknight to heal it up. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is going to come down to Greedent and the Dusclops versus the Corviknight and the Amoonguss. Not to be confused with the new popular game called Among Us. Well, it's not very new, but it's popular all of a sudden.
So here's the thing. Greedent runs Belly Drum. I'm sure that Professor Ragna's like pretty aware of that. So do you taunt the Greedent or do you taunt the Dusclops?
Well, what moves have we seen from the Corviknight so far? We've seen a Max Steel Spike, which is probably the Iron Head, and we've also seen Taunt. I don't think we've seen anything else.
Yes, I did. So now that like memory is coming to, and with the Pollen Puff on Amoonguss, I don't think this Corviknight has Roost. My guess would be that it has Tailwind and Brave Bird.
You don't think there's a? It's pretty common that it runs Body Press as well, isn't it?
It does, but normally that's for like an Iron Defense set. Not a lot of people will run. I mean, some people will run Iron Head and Body Press, but okay, just going for an Iron Head, going for damage onto Greedent. Greedent still gets the Belly Drum off, so it looks like Adam's going to get the best of both worlds. Going to get his Belly Drum and going to get the Trick Room up this turn. With the Citrus Berry and Greedent's ability Cheek Pouch, it's actually going to heal up a decent amount, so not looking terrible.
Yeah, and I will go ahead and quote Roller Coaster here and say, munch, 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 that Greedent is eating all of the berries.
Munch, munch, indeed. All right, so now you're in Trick Room. I imagine you go for the kill onto this Amoonguss this turn because you don't want to fall asleep. Yeah, something like Helping Hand Facade seems really solid. And this should be more than enough to get rid of that Amoonguss.
Yeah, and we do see the Rage Powder come from the Amoonguss slot. So it is going to take that Facade with the Helping Hand boost coming from the Greedent, and it is going to be enough to take it out. Let's see what this Corviknight has to do. It is going to Brave Bird, so we do see that third move.
Into the Dusclops, though, not the Greedent. Choosing to ignore could be a pretty big mistake.
Probably predicting the ally switch there.
Oh, yeah, you may have been reading into that. But now I think just a Helping Hand Facade. I know that Corviknight's +3 defense, and this is a resisted hit, so that may have just been not so much like ignoring it because like you don't think it's going to be able to do that much to you. But we'll find out right now. Let's see. Helping Hand Facade. Oh, yeah, that's going to be some work to KO. But it looks...
Brave Bird. And that does chip, too. This game is still pretty much anybody's, I'd say.
Yeah, with Corviknight constantly chipping itself in order to do damage with Brave Bird recoil and Dusclops. Okay, well, so this is something that we can see, but I don't know if Professor's aware. Dusclops has no way to deal damage.
Yeah.
So if Professor Ragnar can get rid of that Greedent, he just wins the game. Well, actually, I think that crit. Yeah, that was
and it was. So the cool thing there, Roller Coaster, they also couldn't see the movesets here on Adam's side of the field, right? As you mentioned. So Ragna doesn't know that the Dusclops has Pain Split, so that could have also been a way to get that health back from that Greedent. So that could be something that we could potentially.
Oh yeah, you could have gone for the side Pain Split to prolong it longer. But yeah, potentially just reading into an ally switch that Adam wasn't going to go for that turn, and also, who knew that Pincurchin would set you back so far?
I'm gonna be honest. I think that Oko just woke me up. Oh man, I did not get a whole lot of sleep last night, so I am pretty tired coming into this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was wild.
Yes.
One thing I would like to see here is the Pincurchin plus the Raichu. I do. That's something that I would really like to see be cool, but I don't know that necessarily that Alolan Raichu could be good. I'm not sure if it can or not.
Well, I mean, Alolan Raichu's probably stronger than Pincurchin. So the rising voltages from Raichu are going to hurt a lot more.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a boosting item on it, though, so maybe technically the Pincurchin does more damage. Stoke Surge... Or wait... Is it called Surge Surf or Stoke Surge Surfer?
Surge Surfer, I believe.
Okay, cool. Yeah, doubling its speed and terrain, it'll definitely make it faster than everything on the opposing team. And like, honestly, Raichu doesn't look super bad here. It hits both Charizard and Corviknight for super effective damage. Same thing with the Amoonguss, although it's Focus Sash, so it doesn't really matter. And it also changes your terrain, so I don't know how badly you want to do that. It hits Rotom for neutral, Wooloo for neutral. The only thing you really got to worry about is that Haxorus.
And as we saw there, it's just straight one-shot it with a helping hand from Dusclops.
With a helping hand rising voltage.
Very impressive.
Yeah, so I think the professor's main adjustment is going to be not letting his Haxorus take that. or just leading the Rotom. Oh, okay. This is actually super good for Adam. So he can just switch in his Pincurchin this turn and go for either a Max Lightning or just a plain old Rising Voltage onto the Corviknight.
Yeah, so we saw the Nasty Plot from the Rotom, so we gotta believe that it's probably not gonna have Ally Switch as well.
Typically, if the standard Rotom set now is Nasty Plot, Protect, Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt. Some opt to drop Protect and go for Dark Pulse instead. Very rarely will you have Nasty Plot and Ally Switch. No Dynamax coming out from anyone. Raichu just going for a Fake Out. Okay, Belly Drum onto the Greedent. That's a pretty smart move. You don't want to or Taunt onto the Greedent. You don't want it Belly Drumming up on you.
Yeah, you see the Greedent and you know exactly what it has to do in order for it to be good.
But now, I mean, like, I think Greedent probably isn't fantastic without the Belly Drum boost. So you're going to want to switch it out as soon as possible. Presumably into your Pincurchin, get the terrain set up, and now you're going to be essentially dealing max move damage without having to max, which is really good. And honestly, I think the Corviknight might have to max to survive a Rising Voltage from Raichu.
Wow, so we actually see the Corviknight switch out here, and it is going to go into the Haxorus, which we saw get knocked out from the Rising Voltage from Pincurchin earlier, as you mentioned. And I mean, I don't think it wants to take one from Raichu here.
Yeah. Again, there's no boosting item on the Raichu. Pincurchin does have the Life Orb. And this one isn't helping handed boosted, but based on the fact that it got one shot previously, I imagine this is like a 2-hit KO, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Looks like almost exactly.
And we do see a Nasty Plot coming from the Rotom again.
So now you kind of have a choice to make. Do you go for the Raichu or do you go for the Pincurchin this time? Raichu's Rising Voltage is going to take out the Haxorus, but it can also do a really solid chunk to the Rotom. So you gotta decide which one. Okay, Haxorus is actually gonna switch out. This is probably gonna be a Amoonguss if I were to guess. Yeah, it is a Amoonguss. But Raichu just went for the Rising Voltage. Okay, so Dynamax is coming out. This is most likely going to be a Max Geyser from Rotom, and Electric doesn't resist water, so this could very easily be the end of Pincurchin. Okay, Rotom getting big. And let's see what happens here. Rising Voltage coming out from Raichu. Going into the Amoonguss slot. Does an okay amount. It breaks the Focus Sash, which is very important. This +2 Max Geyser is definitely going to KO. Oh no, it went into Raichu.
Wow. So that does bring the Raichu down to its Focus Sash. Pretty interesting to see there, as we do know the Raichu is going to outspeed. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rising Voltage goes into Rotom, gets a solid amount off. This turn.
One thing we could potentially see here, Rollercoaster, is an Expanding Force coming from the Raichu into the super effective Amoonguss slot. Not sure if that is the best play, but it could potentially be the best play, as that Amoonguss is just going to sit there and continue to redirect a +2 Rotom from being hit.
I would say that probably you'd want to go for the Expanding Force. Like, getting Amoonguss off the field as soon as possible is good. You don't want it being able to put you to sleep. You don't want it redirecting your attacks right now. Like, you have Raichu. It's really fast. It's dealing a lot of damage. It's gonna one-hit KO a lot of the opposing Pokemon. Like, so Haxorus is in range. Okay, that was a really smart protect. Like, Professor reading into the fact that, like, Adam's going to want to get rid of this Amoonguss as soon as possible, and just going for an Expanding Force into it, taking it up so it gets to keep his Rotom. This could be going into Pincurchin, or it could just be finishing off Raichu. Okay, so it did go into the Pincurchin slot, and it's going to take care of that Greedent. Poor Greedent.
Oh man, a +2 super effective, well, not super effective, but a +2 boosted, rain boosted Geyser coming from the Rotom. That's gotta hurt the Greedent.
Yeah, so looks like Adam's thinking a little bit here. Now, here's the question. If you're Professor Ragna, do you leave Amoonguss in, or do you switch out, regain your Focus Sash, and potentially eat an attack a lot better? Because personally, I think I would switch the Amoonguss out this turn.
Yeah, you get a full health Pokemon at that, and as you said, it gets a Focus Sash back. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think this is potentially going to be a really big turn for either player. If they go for that play, will Adam read into it, and will he get a KO this turn? So Amoonguss stays in.
Interesting.
Sylveon goes for Protect.
I think Adam's best move here might have been to go for the Expanding Force, just in case the Amoonguss did stay in, because this is going to do hardly any damage, and you're probably going to lose your Raichu this turn. Maybe not.
I don't know. To me, it seems like a real toss-up on what's going to happen. Like, yes, on the one hand, Pollen Puff to finish. To heal back. Okay, so that's not disastrous.
Well, so the thing is, Expanding Force and Rising Voltage are both going to do a lot of damage to anything that switches in.
He has Corviknight in the back, though. It resists. If he switches into Corviknight, that's potentially a really bad turn for him.
It'd be really cool to see Hyper Beam here.
Yeah, just go for it. Just go super hard. That being said, Adam still has the max advantage. This is the last turn of Electric Terrain. Raichu is obviously just on 1 HP, but like, I don't blame him for going for. I personally think that I would have made the exact same play that they did. I would have been like, you're gonna switch out this turn to the Corviknight. To me it makes the most sense. Looks like Adam's gonna call it again. Amoonguss is gonna switch out. So yeah, here comes Corviknight. I don't know if this is gonna KO with the berry, but it's definitely going to do a lot either way.
Oh, so we do see the Love Ball come out, so it is going to be a Dynamax coming from that beautiful Sylveon. So it is going to be a Starfall, as we did see the only normal type attacks, and that Pixelate is going to give it the Fairy type, and it has the Pixie Plate item as well, so that does give it the boost. So Rising Voltage comes from the Raichu here into the Corviknight, and we do see the berry. It's going to bring it down to about 55 to 60%. Hydro Pump coming out,
and it survives. And as we saw last time, this just gets the clean one hit on it. And now we are in the Misty Terrain, which means that Raichu is no longer gets its speed boost, and Rising Voltage is doing much less damage.
Yeah, you know what's cool here, Roller Coaster? In a world, in a new series where the two very dominant terrain is now banned, basically. Not necessarily banned, but the setters are now gone.
Yes.
Adam has now made a team that is switching terrains back and forth that are not even the same terrains.
Yeah, and benefiting a lot from it at that. But now things are really tricky because it's like Amoonguss is really disruptive. It can protect, it can Rage Powder. Corviknight can get like Iron Heads off into the Sylveon, as it's definitely within Iron Head range. So Adam may be just trying to like stall this out and try to finish the game off with Raichu. Yeah, here comes the Rage Powder. And Iron Head actually goes into the Pincurchin slot, or what was the Raichu slot, to finish it off. Rain's over now. Amoonguss isn't putting anything to sleep anytime soon. And now what do you do? The issue is that the Amoonguss has too much special bulk, and Adam doesn't really have a fast way through it with what he currently has on the field. And even if he did have something that was on the field that can put a lot of pressure on it, it's the Raichu, and it's about to die.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to just Rage Powder and Iron Head into that Sylveon slot, or it just goes for the Pincurchin, actually.
Oh, not going for the Sylveon. That could potentially be a mistake. These Starfalls just aren't doing enough. And the terrain actually switches back to Misty, so Raichu's not going to be able to get its.
Yeah, that could be bad.
Oh, and the flinch comes out on Pincurchin. Yeah, so this is a really rough position because you can't switch in Raichu. You need to switch Pincurchin out to get the terrain back in your to boosting Raichu, but the way that Professor's just like targeting that one slot, Raichu can't switch in safely. So maybe I think you have to hope for them to trip up and target the Sylveon this turn for no real reason.
Yeah, so I think Professor Ragna just has an easy win con here if it actually predicts the Protect coming from the Sylveon, and it just goes straight for the Pincurchin again, assuming that it's going to switch into that Raichu that just has 1 HP.
Yeah. So, Raichu comes back in. It's on 1 HP, so if that slot got target, honestly, like, you probably could have even Iron Head the Sylveon and like Pollen Puff that slot, but just playing it safe, going for the Rage Powder. While Corviknight goes for Iron Head, into what was the Pincurchin slot, and with the fastest Pokemon crit, revenge crit for the Greedent earlier. With Raichu gone, I don't really see a way that you can like get through this team, because Amoonguss can just keep Rage Powdering. Corviknight now threatens the hit onto Sylveon, and Amoonguss isn't pressured at all by either of these.
Yeah, I mean, this Pincurchin is not going to outspeed the Corviknight.
Yeah, it's not. Haxorus is going to come in. Actually, okay. Yeah, so then Sylveon takes that. This actually... So now it's
Pincurchin versus the world.
Pincurchin versus the world, indeed. And Rising Voltage is going to get the Corviknight, and Professor should be like fairly safe just to hit Rage Powder and presumably Dragon Claw on this Haxorus.
Well, Haxorus does have access to Earthquake as well.
It does? Yeah. So Earthquake, high horsepower. Pincurchin isn't getting through that Amoonguss anytime soon, so you just Rage Powder and do whatever attack you want for the next turn. It was really close, and I think it just... I think Adam just needed to get through that Amoonguss with the Raichu, and he made the call that I personally would have made the call of Amoonguss is very important in this matchup for you, so you're not just gonna let me Expanding Force and take it out. But I guess the professor like reverse read into that, or maybe he can just survive an Expanding Force outside of Psychic Terrain, and was like, nope, I'm fine. I'm just gonna stay in right here.
Yeah, I think Professor Ragnar probably called that he needed the Amoonguss. Or if he just got rid of the Raichu, then he's fine, and he knows that Raichu probably has to target down the Amoonguss with an Expanding Force in order to knock it out. Probably. I don't even know if that is enough to KO. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. And honestly, like, this is a pretty specially defensive Amoonguss. It's been eating up these rising voltages really well. They're resisted hits, but it hasn't been taking a lot from them, and so it could be very heavily specially defensive. Like, Amoonguss just has like really great bulk in general, so it could just be that he was confident that he would survive the Expanding Force regardless, and then just switch out later.
Yeah. So I guess the Raichu, the only way for the Raichu to get the Psychic Terrain up is by itself.
It has to max Mindstorm. So let's see how this goes differently. Adam appears to have chosen the same 4 Pokemon. He seems very confident in them, and I'd say that's a solid 4 to bring. He just needs to play around a little bit differently. Oh, Dubwool and Rotom. Very interesting this time.
Very interesting indeed. So we are just going to see another Belly Drum. Well, maybe not yet. I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. So he did click it.
Yeah. Potentially, Professor Ragnar's just going to max the Rotom right off the bat this time. That way, it doesn't take a fake out, and it punishes Greedent for going for a Belly Drum. Wooloo probably just going to go for Cotton Guard. Start boosting up its defensives. I don't really see any real need to Thunder Wave. Like, the only Pokemon that you want to slow down is the Raichu, and it's already faster than everything else. So
yeah, it'd be very cool to see Dubwool Dynamax here.
Yeah, I doubt it. But... Okay, Rotom switches out. Very interesting. Into the Amoonguss. So this fake out is going to break the Focus Sash. And Cotton Guard is going to come out from Dubwool as Greedent gets his Belly Drop off relatively free of punishment. Like, I'd say that's a solid turn. Obviously, it's scary to take a Body Press from Wooloo. This may be the turn where you need to find out, does Raichu KO with a Expanding Force?
Cheek Pouch is so broken.
It's such a dumb ability, right?
Yeah, so I got to assume that we're going to see the Dynamax come from the Greedent here.
You could Dynamax Greedent, and something that could be interesting is Dynamaxing Greedent and switching in Pincurchin. That way Amoonguss can't put you to sleep. You're not going to get through this Dubwool anytime soon, but you could essentially do like the All My Friends Are Dead thing and just KO everything that isn't the Dubwool, and then use your special attackers to finish it off.
Yeah, so I think that's actually a pretty cool cool turn that you just mentioned there, switching out the Raichu into the Pincurchin, because then you also set the Raichu up for a pretty solid endgame.
Oh my god, wait. I think I just saw what
it wasn't Max Quake, was it?
For. I can't read the bottom move that Raichu has. Nibs, does this thing have Speed Swap?
Yes, it does.
Oh my.
No. Oh no!
It's gonna be a fast Greedent.
God, I'm gonna have nightmares about this later.
Speed Swap. Okay. Well, this just got way more interesting.
So it is a Max Quake, and thankfully it is not into the Amoonguss slot. And it is into the Dubwool. Gonna get the KO? Question mark?
Crit!
It is a crit, so I can assume that it is gonna KO.
I think that crit really, really mattered.
Oh my goodness. Well, it was
oh
6,
no! It's fast Greedent!
What are we witnessing here? So, also, you did just mention switching out to Pincurchin, and I think that's still cool. I think it's even cooler this time around because it's still, I mean, it'll go back to its regular speed once it comes back in.
It will, yeah. So now this seems like the perfect time to switch in Pincurchin, and just like completely, and make that that is completely useless and like only be able to redirect things. But presumably Professor Ragnar is just waiting in shell shock right now. That crit was really, really bad for him. Amoonguss is going to come back out. It healed back to its focus sash, so that's good. But I think this is just like maybe a max strike or maybe even a max steel spike and switch to Amoonguss. Or not switch to Amoonguss, switch to Pincurchin so that this Amoonguss can't do anything or can't put you to sleep this turn.
Wow. Oh my goodness, what a turn one.
Yeah, oh god. This Greedent is critting things out of its mind.
Well, we know Adam likes to bring the Greedent.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Professor Ragnar likes to bring that double as well.
Yeah.
The biggest way to beat the double is probably to just crit right through that cotton guard, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a way to do it, and that's the unfortunate thing about like these really bulky setup Pokemon is that you always like kind of open yourself up to like flinches, full paras, getting burned on moves like Heat Wave or something like that. Looks like the Professor's gonna opt to Dynamax what I can only assume is the Corviknight, though I would not be opposed to seeing a Dynamax Amoonguss. Yeah, it is the Corviknight. Probably gonna start setting itself up defensively. And making it so that the only thing that's threatening it is the Raichu in the back. Or actually, you could start airstreaming so they can outspeed the Greedent. But Max Strike is just going to put it right back to its normal position. Amoonguss is going to go down to its Focus Sash. Wow. It may have gone for Spore, just hoping that Pincurchin wasn't in the back. Mirror Armor reverses that. Okay, so he's actually going to slow down this Greedent a good amount. But going for the Steel Spike...
that doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, Greedent's actually surprisingly bulky. And get the defense boost, which is going to be really valuable. I went for the Spore, hoping the Pincurchin wasn't there. So this turn, I'd probably just Max Strike the Amoonguss again, or Steel Spike for defense boost on your Pincurchin. Your best... You may switch out your Amoonguss here. You may just try to Rage Powder. Yeah, Rage Powder so that Corviknight doesn't take any big damage. Because Pincurchin resists both of Corviknight's stabs, it's not going to be able to get through this turn, even if it crits, I believe. And this is really great because now the Rising Voltage is going to break the Walk and Berry.
So we do see another Steel
just
Spike
going for another
in.
Max Steel Spike boost.
Yeah, but it's not going to make that big of a difference in the end game, as we do have Adam does have the Raichu in the back. We do see the Raichu in the back, which is a special Pokemon.
So really great move burning through this this Wackenberry like right now, and now you can. And now you can like your Raichu has a Focus Sash, so you have to get like 2 shots on it anyway to KO it. I imagine this turn you're gonna Facade the Rotom and potentially Professor's just gonna try to protect it and like solve things out. But even if you do that, you're taking a Rising Voltage from the Pincurchin and your berry's gone, so you're gonna take actually more damage than you did the last time from it, and it's putting you more in range of Raichu. So honestly, like I'd say that Adam has this pretty much sealed up. He just has to clean it up right in the end.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of outs right now for the Professor.
Yeah. Just showing off exactly how cool that Greedent can be if it gets its berry off. We are going to see the Protect come through from the Rotom. As predicted, the Facade's not going to do anything, and that Corviknight is going to go now, and it is going to max Airstream into the Greedent. As we see now, not going to do a whole lot of damage, but this Pincurchin is going to be able to get a big Rising Voltage off into the Corviknight. A crit could probably bring it real low.
Yeah, it's already super low right now. So it's completely in range of anything that Raichu wants to go for. So now I think with the speed drop on Greedent and the speed boost on both of the Professor's Pokemon, he can double the Greedent this turn and get the KO on it. But then Sylveon and Raichu are just waiting in the back to clean up the map. Right. So even if he gets through it this turn.
So we do see the Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. Iron Head onto the Pincurchin, probably trying to get a flinch. But because they didn't double, Green can just get the facade off, and that's easily going to KO the Rotom. And if Pincurchin doesn't flinch, I mean, like, even if it did flinch that turn, like, you have to get through the Sylveon.
Right, it's +6 versus the world.
Yeah, well, that crit, honestly, might have just sealed the game in the beginning. I'm fairly certain that a +3 Wooloo can survive a Max Quake from Greedent, but I'd say regardless, GG's. That speed swap was sick.
Yeah, so two straight best of threes going to the third battle there, and we saw some very exciting stuff throughout the entire night, obviously. But the very last Series 5 battle that you're going to see here on our Friendlies, at least for the time being, I doubt that we'll revisit it, but you never know. Very, very impressive stuff, very fun stuff, and exciting to see.
Hey, you like that video? We think you should check this out, and YouTube thinks you should check this one out. Be sure to subscribe for more content.